It is day 3 of the Little League Southeast Regional from Warner Robins, Georgia, and the 8th game that we have covered so far. Peachtree City National, the team out of Georgia, getting set to take on South Carolina. This is how the tournament stacks up so far. Tennessee and North Carolina sitting pretty at 2-0, but for the 4 teams at the bottom, it is survive and advance mode as West Virginia and Virginia have both been eliminated. And we welcome inside the booth, everybody, Drew Felios alongside the former big league catcher Mike LaValliere. So here you have South Carolina playing their second game in the past day. And then you've got Georgia, a team that played yesterday and did not play well. Mike, considering all the circumstances, who do you think has the edge?
Well, I really think that Georgia has the edge, and that's really directly because this morning the South Carolina team lost 2 players due to injury. You had Turpin, and then you have Shepard, 2 of their pitchers. They will not be eligible for this game, so they're a little short-handed. However, this is why we play the games. Georgia, on the other hand, didn't play their game against Tennessee. Tennessee took them out of it, so they have to come back real hard tonight.
Yeah, Georgia certainly with the score to settle, as they're considered the home team here in this Southeast Regional, and they are led today by Aaron Gates, who will get the ball.
Well, Aaron Gates pitched a little bit on Friday, a couple innings, gave up a run. He's going to be on the mound for him. His job's to get the ball over the plate. Offensively, he's done a nice job for him. He's been on base over 50% of the time.
And on the other side for South Carolina, as you said, Mike, losing a couple stars, so Jaden Priest, the load on his shoulders is going to be increased here today.
Well, he's really kind of the bright spot in the lineup as a team. They've only had 7 hits so far in the first 2 games, and Jaden Priest has had 3 of them. He's got to play a solid shortstop and obviously got to pick it up as much as he can on offense.
Remember, tremendous power on the Georgia side, so South Carolina going to have to play flawless baseball if they want to survive and advance. Georgia, South Carolina is next. South Carolina set to take on Georgia here in the 8th game that we have televised over the last 3 days at the Little League Southeast Regional. Warner Robins, Georgia, as both teams waiting to head out onto the field. Get a look at our umpiring crew here today. David Singleton behind the plate. Michael Oakes will be at first base. Rich Babalakwa will be the second base umpire. And the third base umpire is Michael Grossman. So, South Carolina going to play a little short-handed. There's a big reason why right there. The right ankle you saw of Russ Shepard rolled up on the bag. West Virginia taking a knee. Shepard tended to. He was taken to a local hospital. He is on crutches here this afternoon. And tell you what, right now his team is playing for him.
And our second injury right there, right off the elbow. Jackson Turpin, one of their better pitchers. Number 3 hitter in their lineup. That one came right off the edge of the elbow. Now he has no movement from the elbow. Both of these guys, big important pieces of this South Carolina machine, and they're going to be missing.
So South Carolina, only 11 healthy players in this game. And that's just going to put a little bit more pressure on Henry Carter to do the job.
Well, Henry Carter, we'll have to consider him a crafty lefty. He's got a fastball, curveball, knuckleball. He's going to have to try to mix everything in, rely on his defense. He's not going to overpower anybody. What he has to do is try to keep Georgia off balance, see if they can get him or get Georgia to swing out of the zone. But it's certainly a tall order for the young man.
Yeah, that's going to be easier said than done for sure. Trey King will lead it off for Georgia, and he'll be followed by Garrett Arrington, the second baseman. Bryce Aylwine will hit third. Caleb Cross has been effective. He'll hit cleanup here today. Aaron Gates, the pitcher. Jace Blaylock has home run power. P.J. Green, Simon Lewis, and Sully White, the left fielder, will round things out for Georgia. I know the big bat of Jace Blaylock. Have not really seen him get a hold of one here over the last few days. Have a feeling that could very well come in this game.
Just a matter of time, really, when you have a guy that's got that much power. He's been hit with a couple of pitches. They've pitched around him whenever they have pitched to him. He hasn't been able to make real good contact, but this is a young man that's capable of driving it a long, long way.
South Carolina lost in the first round to North Carolina and then defeated West Virginia earlier this morning. The other side, Georgia, impressive win over Virginia on day one, but then falling to Tennessee, and they just could not get their offense going against the defending champion out of Goodlettsville Little League. Take a look at the South Carolina coaches. Will Dennis, the head coach, Hank Sanders, Zach Sutherland also helping out on that South Carolina coaching staff. And we are underway. And first pitch is going to go off the helmet of Trey King.
Henry Carter, maybe a little bit of nervousness upper shoulder. Trey King taking first base.
So that brings up Garrett Arrington now, early base runner for Georgia. Arrington watches one just off the plate, and it's ball 2. There's a strike.
There we go. That breaks the ice for Henry. Always good to get that first strike out of the way. Of course, on the first pitch, it'll get settled in a little bit, but take a winning, you can get it.
Now the 2-1 pitch. Arrington watches this one low. 3 balls, 1 strike as Georgia just wrapped up their state tournament victory this past Tuesday. So coming in without a couple pitchers available, they've had to overcome that. This ball's going to be popped up. Caleb DeWitt is under it in left field, and he makes the play for South Carolina. There's one away. Take a look at the South Carolina defense. DeWitt in left, Lathan Sellers in center. Taylor Rabe is the right fielder. At third base, William Dennis, Jaden Priest at short, Trey Sanders at second, Patrick McMaster at first, with Melahese behind the plate. That is what Carter is going to have to do today, really let his defense work, because it is going to be tough to overpower this lethal Georgia lineup.
And again, left-handers, guys that keep the ball under what I would call hitting speed, have been very effective in the past at all levels. They can frustrate you. They kind of nitpick around the plate. Tendency is to swing at pitches you normally wouldn't swing at because you see them so much better. And that's how you get people out.
Bryce Aylwine's turn. And that one just a little bit low. Tight strike zone here to start. Henry Carter trying to find it for South Carolina. And this one's going to be a ball 4. So now Caleb Cost will come to the plate for Georgia.
For Georgia, the batter is the center fielder, number 2, Caleb Cost.
Now, Caleb Cost, such an exciting player. He had a chance to pitch in the last game against Tennessee. But, Mike, I prefer to watch this young man play in the field because he is so talented, so fast, and his arm is just unbelievable for a kid 12 years old.
Yeah, speed is just incredible in the outfield, and just watching how aggressive he is. Any of the baseballs that have gone out towards him, he's tremendously talented at reading the ball, coming in, charging. And when you do that as a third base coach, you see the center fielder get to the ball early, like as much as Caleb Cost does. And a lot of times you're just holding up that runner. He's a run saver.
Ball gets away as Melahese goes to the backstop, and they move up second and third now for Georgia. Take a look at Georgia's manager, Ryan Danbury, part of the United States Air Force Reserve Unit. And we've said many times throughout the last few days, does not have a son playing on this Georgia team. Just does it for the love of the game. South Carolina, they'll make their first visit to the mound.
Now this is more or less just trying to calm him down. Say, hey, Henry, you know what? You got a good defense. Get the ball over the plate. Try to keep it down. Then mix your speeds. But the big thing is you got to let your defense help you. A power pitcher, on the other hand, and they can get away with a little bit of wildness because they've always got that strikeout type ability. Here, Henry really doesn't have that strikeout pitch, so he really has to rely on his defense for help.
Caleb Cost waiting and takes it for ball 4. So only 1 out, and the bases loaded already for Georgia. Sense a big inning coming on. Aaron Gates coming to the plate. Gates takes one inside.
Against Tennessee, he had a nice little smooth swinging home run. Got a pitch up in the zone and really drove it out of here.
Gates watches one high and outside. This one misses low. If you're South Carolina, they had a gem of a day from their starting pitcher, who's now playing right field, Taylor Rabe. Just a great job to get South Carolina here, but not going to be able to help here in this game, as he threw the maximum amount of pitches. What a memorable performance from Taylor Rabe this morning, Mike. He was really special.
He really was in control. He ended up giving a 2-run homer up late in the ball game, but middle innings he was just mowing them down.
And a walk issued. First run of the game for Georgia. Henry Carter right now just struggling to find a play.
Number 42, first baseman Chase Blaylock.
Here comes the big man, Jace Blaylock. Blaylock has tremendous home run power. He gets a hold of one, it is going to go a long way. Hasn't happened yet here in Warner Robins.
The coaches were talking before the game, Ryan Danbury and Jeff White, Brian Elwine, they said he can hit it in the trees. Now, if he hits it that far, that'd be amazing.
There you go. It's a grand slam, no doubt. And guess what? It's in the trees.
You know, we rehearsed this before the game, folks. Not really. That one went so far, I am choked up. That ball I don't know, it was probably 375 feet. No doubter. This ball way up top of the berm. A big grand slam. And, you know, you feel bad for, you know, the South Carolina team. Henry Carter out there, his teammates out there consoling him. But this is this is just a big, strong kid, Jace Blaylock, and he's been held in check up until now. And you know, I tell you, it's just he gets some frustration out on one swing of the bat.
That's by far the furthest hit ball that we have seen over the past 3 days. Jace Blaylock, a grand slam home run for Georgia, and they lead 5-0.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say that's going out of most big league ballparks.
Wow.
That ball is absolutely crushed.
Well, we talked about Blaylock and his success in high school home run derbies. I mean, he routinely hits it out of the bigger ballparks we saw right there. Wow, that was impressive. So pitching change for South Carolina. Jaden Priest now going to get warmed up.
Well, we've seen Jaden Priest before. He's a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher. throws in the low 60s, and his out pitch is his curveball. Now his job, he's got one job, is to try to keep this Peachtree offense down, see if he can get his mates back in there and swing the bat, see if they can score some runs.
So Taylor Rabe is going to come in from right field and play shortstop as Priest takes over on the mound, and Henry Carter, who was pitching now, will find a home in right field.
The South Carolina team, like most of the teams, 7 out of the 8, with either 13 or 14 players on the roster. All they've had to worry about, the coaches, is just getting their 4 reserves 4 at-bats, or 1 at-bat each during the games. Now that they have 11 eligible players, now they have both reserves will have to play 6 consecutive outs in the field, plus get 1 at-bat.
Now it's P.J. Green. Georgia out to a 5-0 lead here in the first. Only 1 out.
Nice breaking ball by Jaden Priest. Went with the fastball in, previous pitch, and then dropped a little spinner on him.
Hit to the second baseman. Trey Sanders will take care of it for South Carolina. And there's 2 down. So South Carolina hoping to just settle down here with their new pitcher, Priest. Let their defense do some work, and then get into the dugout and let their bats do some talking. Simon Lewis now in the 8-hole for Georgia. Waves at this one, and it drops right in front of the first baseman, Patrick McMaster. And I'll tell you what, that's a good job by Priest. He got off the mound really quick.
You know, very often times when you look at a Little League lineup, you know, they're usually strung up the middle to where your pitcher, your shortstop, your center fielder are usually your 3 best players.
Swing and a miss that time. So 2 strikes that count to Simon Lewis. Lewis watches one high. South Carolina knew that coming in pitching was probably not their strong point. Their pitcher is going to be tested here in this 3rd game. Had a tough time against North Carolina, able to ride the right arm of Taylor Rabe this morning. Now it's all up to Jaden Priest. There's a great pitch. Curveball in there to strike out. Blaylock unloads though for Georgia. First Grand Slam home run we've seen at this Southeast Regional, and Georgia on top 5-0. Georgia gets 5 in their first at bat, and now South Carolina coming up to the plate in the bottom of the first. Got to be nice if you're Aaron Gates now with a 5-run cushion, Mike.
Well, just what that does is should relax him a little bit to where he's not worried about making one mistake. Aaron's fastball in the mid-60s, throws a curveball, throws a changeup. His key is his control. He's got to hit his spots to be effective.
Take a look at the South Carolina lineup. Caleb DeWitt will lead it off. Jaden Priest hits second, followed by Taylor Rabe. William Dennis is in the cleanup spot today. Lathan Sellers, Henry McCarter, Patrick McMaster, Trey Sanders, and James Mellehees round out the top 9. Benton Sutherland and Griffin Pickard are the reserves here today for South Carolina. And Mike, again, the bench players for South Carolina, the depth, because there's only 11 players, how does that affect this game?
Both of the substitutes are going to have to play 6 consecutive outs in the field. Also get 1 at bat. And that's for rosters of 12 or less, 13, 14. Then all the requirements and the mandatory play is just 1 at bat. So the South Carolina coach is going to have to make a little adjustment.
0-2 now to Caleb DeWitt. And he gets a good swing on it, hits it off the light post. South Carolina rallying behind their injured teammates, Russ Shepard and Jackson Turpin. And DeWitt battling here, hanging in, still 0-2. There's Shepard. So fun to watch. He had a chance to pitch earlier this week for South Carolina. As Gates misses outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
Arguably the 2 best pitchers taken out of from South Carolina. Turpin started day 1, pitched a very good ball game. Was a little unlucky. And then Shepard we saw just briefly. So the 2 guys that they were counting on that unfortunately can't get out there with their teammates for this game.
Good eye by Caleb DeWitt. Gates misses again. So 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Great at-bat so far. Seen 8 pitches. As a leadoff guy, you're doing exactly what you need to do.
There's a strike, struck him out. DeWitt was ready to go to first. Looked like he had been issued the walk, but our home plate umpire, David Singleton, says,
I'll take another look at it. That's a good pitch. It's a ball that looked like it nipped the knees on the way by. Outside corner, maybe even got a little bit more of the plate.
Jaden Priest now for South Carolina. Priest, a guy who hits for average and power. And he gets a good piece of this one. It has a chance to leave the park, and it does. Solo shot for Jaden Priest. South Carolina's on the scoreboard.
Well, South Carolina now have 8 hits. Jaden Priest with 4 of them. And a big fly to that. Says, hey guys, we're not out of this yet. I'm on the hill, I'm gonna shut him down. Plus I'm gonna make some noise with the bat. There's a fastball, good short stroke. Hit it right on the sweet spot. And no doubter line drive homer for Jaden Priest.
So some life in that South Carolina dugout. And that'll bring up Taylor Rabe. Tell you what, 2 and 3, really tough for South Carolina. Priest and Rabe are going to have really big days. They want to keep pace with this Georgia lineup. Taylor Rabe has been awesome today. This ball gets away. South Carolina, Greenville Little League talked about the road here and the battle that they had with Lawrence. A 15-14 win at the state tournament. Now it's a game where Trey Sanders was the hero. Sanders hitting 8th here today. This ball taken high, and Rabe will trot down to first base. So a base runner for South Carolina with 1 out. in a 5-1 ball game.
Number 9, the third baseman, William Dennis.
Here's the defense for Georgia. Sully White in left field. Caleb Koss center field. PJ Green in right. Trey King, the third baseman. Alewine at short. Garrett Arrington at second. Jace Blaylock is at first. And Simon Lewis is behind the plate.
Looks like Aaron Gates was a little briefly shook up by that big fly from Priest. Went ahead and walked him. They tried something else, a little first pitch breaking ball. See if they could get him back on track.
And Gates a little bit frustrated now, not getting the calls from our home plate umpire, David Singleton. Throwing now from the stretch. This one's going to be popped up. Catcher on top of it. Lewis makes the grab. There's 2 away.
That's one of the things that catchers, especially at this age level, don't get a chance to do very much. A lot of the fields have that overhang with the fence where the ball goes up and it gets caught in the fence. That's something pretty new for, I'm sure, most of these guys, as this is open air, and for it to go anywhere, it's going to go up on the roof.
Now it's Lathan Sellers. Sellers jammed. It'll be 1-1. Lathan Sellers, probably the best all-around athlete for South Carolina. Kid that is new to baseball, still kind of picking up the sport. Once he gets more consistent, coaches say that he is going to be a future star. 17, Lathan Sellers, here with 2 outs. Good block by the catcher that time, Simon Lewis.
Yeah, very nicely done. A lot of times catchers, they get all the pats on the back whenever they block the ball with the guy on third base. Well, in this instance, you block the ball, you keep him at first. Now he doesn't get in scoring position. Now it has to be an extra base hit to score him. If that ball gets by him, now a base hit scores him on a regular single. You know, those are the kinds of things that I like to see from catchers. You know, let's keep everything in front of us.
Big swing here, fouls this one back. Georgia last won this Southeastern Regional back in 2011. In fact, they won it 3 years in a row, 2009 to 2011. A rich history they have here in Little League play. Ducking that time is Sellers. And it's a full count now to Lathan Sellers. Henry Carter on deck for South Carolina. Aaron Gates trying to get Georgia out of this inning. This is hit to the second baseman, Arrington. Nice play, and the force at second to silence South Carolina in the first. But they do get one off a big solo shot from Jaden Priest. It's 5-1 after 1. You want to play Little League or volunteer in your local community? Visit playlittleleague.org and enter your address to find a Little League program near you. 1 inning in the books here in Warner Robins. Georgia leads South Carolina by a count of 5-1. Drew Felios alongside Mike LaValliere. This is the 8th game we've brought you over the last 3 days. We've had a blast here in the Southeast Regional. This ball hit on the ground. Good play by the shortstop, Taylor Rabe. And there's one away.
Well, Jaden Priest certainly coming in and shutting things down so far.
It's so fun to work this event every year, Mike. And each year we kind of learn something new. I mean, you expect for kids to learn things coming here, but it's amazing. It's almost like they teach us year in and year out. Saw the towering blast from Blaylock. Saw Tennessee playing nearly flawless baseball. North Carolina has played exceptional as well. And now Georgia with a 5-1 lead. Here's a shot to center field. The hit parade continues for Georgia as Trey King goes yard.
Well, you want to talk about sportsmanship? There we go, right there. You get Jaden Priest, who just gave up a home run. He's congratulating him down the third baseline. Take a look at how it happened, and just a pitch thigh high about middle in. Trey King puts a nice swing on it. Not nearly as majestic, but it still counts as 1 point.
Now it's Garrett Arrington's turn.
Well, I love the attitude, Jaden Priest. He just, he's just gonna say, you know what? I made a bad pitch. The guy punished it. I'm gonna give him a high five on the way home. And just before I could get it out of my mouth, one of the things that I was going to say is very impressed by the sportsmanship shown here. I've done this my third year here in Warner Robins, and I tell you what, these young players, it's all for the right reasons. They're here to compete. Yes, everybody wants to go to Williamsport, but you know what? They're here and they're enjoying this. It's no fun to strike out. It's no fun to make an error, but at the same token, half hour after the game, they have no idea what just happened.
Garrett Arrington a single. You know what really makes this event special too? I mean, you follow sports in general just during the summertime, and the talk is about the NBA, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, who's going where. In the NFL, it's about Colin Kaepernick. It's all these controversial stories. It's so nice to come out here for a week and just watch a sport played at its purest form, and the emotions of these kids and the coaches as well. I think that's what makes this event so special. It is so timely just before football season begins, of course.
Again, it's a great sport played for all the right reasons.
And it's really the final event before these young men start to get ready for school. As the school year just around the corner, they've spent most of their summers playing this great game. All these young men, all-stars from their respective leagues. Georgia right now with a 5-run lead over South Carolina. Peachtree City National Little League representing Georgia here.
That was an interesting shot that we had, looking in the glove of Jaden Priest and the different grips that you use, fastball grip versus the change-ups.
Oh, big pitch there. Elwine swinging. And he is the second out of the inning.
Oh, you've seen the fastball, the changeup. Here's the breaking ball. Take a look at it. Nicely done. Good spin, good rotation, perfect location. All set up by mixing the pitches up.
Here comes Caleb Koss now. Koss swings at the first pitch. Right at the center fielder. He couldn't come up with it. It'll roll to the wall. Caleb Koss colliding as he tries to go to third base. Now looking towards home, he'll stop at third. So it's 7-1 Georgia after that play.
Yeah, there's a ball that Caleb Koss hits pretty well. And the center field looked like he had a beat on it, just couldn't come up with it. Once that happens, Caleb Koss is motoring. Whoa, look out, young man. Well, we got a little bumper cars working at second base. Koss would have been awarded third base should there have been a play, or if Koss would have gone down anyway, he would have been awarded third base anyway.
Aaron Gates now the batter. 7-1 Georgia lead. So a 5 spot in the first, and now 2 more here in the second. Aaron Gates, the starting pitcher, a chance to help his own cause here. Now, one thing about Aaron Gates, Never see a smile on his face. He is serious as can be. Comes around on that one, fouls it away.
Nice pitch by Priest, down and away. That's the pitch I think every pitcher got to have in his back pocket. You know, when push comes to shove, if you can throw that ball down and away, that's going to give you the best chance.
Oh, that pitch very close. I think in the right spot. Jaden Priest wanted it. There's a shot to right field, another base hit. Costa's going to score. Gates is on first, and now it's 8-1. And guess who is coming up for Georgia?
Number 42, the first baseman,
well, Gates doesn't hit it real good, but does enough of it. A little off the end of the bat, goes well with it. Very impressed with a lot of these young hitters, staying inside the ball, hitting the ball up the middle, hitting the ball to the opposite field.
Big swing and a miss for Blaylock.
I've had some parents ask me whenever I had in my instructional facility, hey, can you teach my son how to pull the ball? And I says, well, yes, I can teach him how to pull the ball, and I'll teach him how to be a good hitter, okay, and start hitting the ball up the middle. Pulling the ball is something that comes natural. It's something that when it's forced, you become an out.
Blaylock takes one inside. Gates will move to second base. Now you may wonder in a situation like this, given the colossal shot that Blaylock hit his last time up, would South Carolina possibly consider potentially walking him? If they do not have to throw the pitches, but the 4 pitches would be added to the pitch count of Jaden Priest. So here deciding to pitch to him, but not giving him anything special to hit, keeping it outside. And Gates moves to third now.
Well, that's what happens, you know, whenever you hit a blast as far as Blaylock did, you kind of get pitched around. You know, we've seen that happen, and you know, right now it's well, speaking of pitch around, forget that. Just going to pick the corner.
Outside part of the plate. Home plate umpire David Singleton liked it, and it's a strikeout. 8-1, your score. Bottom of the second, here we come. Big dreams start in Little League Baseball. Chris Bryant, third baseman of the Chicago Cubs, another example. And Mike LaValliere, I know he's somebody that kind of holds a special place in your baseball heart.
Well, we're going to call this small world. Chris Bryant's grandparents, I spent a couple of summers with in Acton, Massachusetts. Chris's dad, Mike Spike Bryant, who was in the minor leagues with the Boston Red Sox, he and I were roommates in college. So young Chris, I had a chance to meet young Chris. He came over to our instructional facility, and I tell you, Spike and you know, has done a fabulous job with his son. He's a great young man, a tremendous asset to the Chicago Cubs.
Henry Carter leading things off for South Carolina in the second. Carter showing bunt, now pulling back. And South Carolina, I think, going to try and make Aaron Gates throw strikes here.
As a pitcher, you know, obviously you're looking at the hitter, he's squaring around. This is when you concentrate on the glove, throw the ball through the glove.
Three balls, one strike. Georgia with the sharp blue uniforms here today. Used to seeing them in white here at the Southeastern Regional. Big swing there by Henry Carter. And now it's a full count. Carter was the starting pitcher for South Carolina. 30th pitch coming up from Gates. It's put in play. Bryce Alewine takes care of it. Blaylock able to gather it in. Throw was a little bit to the left, but it's one out.
And Jace Blaylock go over there looking at the dirt and saying, you know, what happened here? And looks like he just kind of slipped a little bit. Presence of mind, though. Grab the ball, touch the ball, or touch the bag with his glove as long as the ball's inside of it. Same thing as touching it with your foot.
Patrick McMaster now. And he is going to be struck. Seeing a lot of players hit by pitches over the last few days.
Well, here it is, and McMaster trying to get out of the way. No chance. They'll get him right in the wrist. As long as it gets you on the meat part, it hurts for a little bit. It's whenever that ball gets you right on the bone, that's whenever you tendency to get injured.
Trey Sanders takes the strike. So fun to watch this little guy play. Heart and soul of the South Carolina team. He hits it. Glove by the second baseman. Steps on second. Throws to first for the double play. Well executed. That time by Garrett Arrington. So Georgia's defense making some noise. Doesn't get much better than this. 8-1 after 2. You're looking at Southeast Regional headquarters here at the Little League Southeast Regional Tournament. 8-1, Georgia over South Carolina. That berm continues to be a very popular place to be. Those sleds and the kids on top of them. Been watching that throughout all the action here on this Sunday in Warner Robins. Got Benton Sutherland, who's been inserted into the game. He'll play right field for South Carolina. And a pinch hitter coming up for Georgia. Adams Walls gets a chance to swing a bat. Eight to 1 your score. And 1-1 the count. Jaden Priest, second pitcher used today by South Carolina. Greenville Little League taking on Peachtree City National. And this pitch in there for strike 2.
Yeah, back-to-back breaking balls and missed with the first one. Came back with it again. You see the grip.
And strike 3. Good piece of pitching by Jaden Priest.
All set up by those 2 breaking balls. As a hitter, you have a tendency to start thinking about, you know, what's he going to throw me? You get into a bad habit sometimes of expecting certain pitches. Now, if you're looking for a breaking ball and he throws a fastball, you've got no chance. If you're looking for a fastball, you still have a chance to hit the breaking ball.
Simon Lewis puts it in play. It's going to be a tough one for William Dennis, and he is out at first. This play is going to be reviewed. It looked like he beat the throw.
Now we get a little peek at it. Nice job. Dennis gets it over there. And here's another angle. Yeah, I'm going to have to think that that one's got a chance of being reversed.
Michael Oates.
Now, if I get this one right, I might go slightly above 50% on my, which is a huge improvement for me.
Umpires have been pretty accurate.
They have.
Over the last 3 days. Yep.
They've done a fine job.
But this is why we have replay in Little League Baseball.
You know, and that's the thing, you know, about these guys. Yeah, these gentlemen here are they're all volunteers. They pay their own way. They take a lot of pride in what they do. And take a look and see. Yes, it's now overturned. And I'm sure, you know, these guys talk about it. You know, whenever they make mistakes, they'll ask each other. And I've talked to a number of guys. A guy a couple years ago, Bill Vicara, who I end up, staying in contact with, one of our umpires. And, you know, like I said, these guys are so proud of what they do, and they try so hard. And yes, you know what? Big league umpires mess up calls. These guys do too. But you know what? These guys here, like I said, they take it personal. I mean, they really do. And it's something that, you know, it would be perfect. In a perfect world, nobody would ever make a mistake. But how often does that happen?
Logan Howard now for Georgia. And it's got to be tough too, Mike, when you're an umpire. You make the call and then it gets reversed in a situation like that. Puts more pressure on the umpire to be right. These all volunteer umpires, of course, at the Little League level. Simon Lewis heads to second base. He'll stop right there. And Logan Howard now with the 1-2 count. One out in the third. Georgia looking to add to an 8-1 lead. 4 reserves for Georgia today. Logan Howard, one of them, takes a big cut there. And he'll hang in there 1-2.
That fastball just a little bit too high. But a very good swing on that by Howard.
This one outside. Runner's going to try and take third, and he will stand up. Third pitch for Jaden Priest. Nice one. Got him swinging for strike 3.
Man, Priest is showing a nice little breaking ball. He's mixed in his fastball, spotted it up a little bit. Once he's got ahead, he's had a couple of punch outs with this pitch. Great location, look at that, down and away. All set up again. Keeping his fastball in the zone, mixing in that little spinner.
I think he was ready to head to the dugout, too, after that strikeout. Only 2 outs. Need 1 more.
And we'll be having a little fun with it in the dugout. And might have been someone in there mentioning that, hey, we're going to give the other team 3 outs this inning. Not that baseball players are sarcastic or anything.
Trey King fouls this one to the right side. He had solo shot his last time up.
And I really like this from Priest. You know, going right at him. Gave up a home run last at bat. You know, what do we got? We got 0-2. You know, I'm going to keep coming after you. You beat me, but I'm going to give you my best.
This ball takes a bounce right in front of home plate. As Mellees comes to track it down.
Mellees, you saw him down there and got that probably most in the forearm, and I think it was more pretending that he was getting dirt off the forearm and just kind of rubbing it just a little bit. No, good try. The execution, the call for the fastball up was just a little bit too far, but that's where you miss. So you want to miss when you're ahead.
2-2 pitch. Another good swing by King. So it's the top of the order right now for Georgia. Garrett Arrington will be next. And then Bryce Aylwine. Georgia trying to keep this 2-out rally going. 5 runs in the first, 3 in the second. Off of 4 hits. The biggest one, a grand slam by Jace Blaylock. Farthest ball that we have seen hit over the last 3 days. Now it's 3-2. King watches ball 4. So runners on the corners now. And looks like we're going to have another pinch hitter. Garrett Martin comes out of dugout for Georgia. So Martin will hit for Garrett Arrington.
Catcher.
Now entering the game for Georgia, number 1, Garrett Martin.
And keep in mind, when we see substitutes that come in, each and every one of them is an all-star. Each and every one of them are one of the best players on their regular season team. Some of our ball clubs, really think that, they're losing absolutely nothing. In fact, maybe gaining a little bit of offense when you bring one of these guys in. They may not be playing in the field because, they may be a little stronger offensively. They prefer to put some defense out there, but we've seen it time and time again this tournament. These guys come up pinch hit, and they're just ripping.
Runner heads down to second. Melly's just kind of disregards them. They're concentrating right now on Garrett Martin. Want to get him out and get South Carolina to the dugout. But 3-0 is the count. Jaden Priest looks a little bit tired right now on the mound for South Carolina. I think maybe the coaching staff knows that. They called timeout here just to perhaps take a breath.
Yeah, not sure. The coach going to go out there, have a little chat, kind of take the temperature of everybody, see where everybody's at. Hard to stay positive in this instance as a coach, but you know what, that's what you have to do. This is a little bit about gaining experience. It's not always the good things in life that happen that you gain experience, is handling adversity, and these are lessons that these young players will learn that will take them further along down their careers, whether it be on or off the field.
Martin watches this one, and it's a strike. That timeout helped Jaden Priest. See if he can get Martin out here. Martin with the shades and all watches ball 4 high. Now the bases are loaded. So if you're Georgia, a chance to totally blow this game open. Bryce Aylwine does have home run power. Son of assistant coach Brian Aylwine.
Then keep in mind, when you're on the mound, you get 2 outs, you're only 1 pitch from getting it back in that dugout.
Aylwine hits it. Third baseman able to knock it down, but everybody's safe, no play. So Aylwine hits it hard. It's a good effort by William Dennis at third, but just too much mustard on that one.
Well, actually, William Dennis saves a run, at least for now. This ball earmarked for left field, and Dennis went down, just got a piece of it, enough to keep it in the infield, though.
Oh, that hit really hard off the bat of Caleb Cost. Gotta ask you, Mike, do you think that would be called an error, that last hit to third base?
Oh, no, without a doubt. That's a base hit all the way. That infielder leaves his feet, barely gets off the edge of the glove. Now, he did everything he possibly could.
Cost swinging a mean stick right now. In case you're joining us for the first time, we've been talking about Caleb Cost, his famous bloodlines, the nephew of the great Andre Dawson. Player that Mike, you had a chance to play with time and again. Play against, rather, in your big league career. This one outside. And 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, the Hawk was an intimidating player. He got in the batter's box, had tremendous bat speed. In the outfield, one of the greatest arms that's ever played the game. And just a guy that came to the ballpark every day to play hard and win.
This is hit hard. Line drive to left field. Couple hops to the wall. 1 run is in. 2nd run is in. Cost digging for 3rd. And he has got a 3 RBI triple. See a little bit of Andre Dawson in him, don't you?
Well, I tell you one thing, a young man can fly. It was a pleasure watching him running around the bases, but he does a nice job, keeps his hands inside the ball, keeps it fair, and after that, then it was just a matter of a track meet.
Gates swings around on this one, and it'll be just out of play. Finally, a little smile from Aaron Gates. Important to get Gates out because Jace Blaylock, the big stick, is coming up next for Georgia. Coach Danbury's got to like what he sees. Georgia has come out swinging here in their 3rd contest at the Southeast Regional. 0-2 now to Aaron Gates. Jaden Priest battling, and that's going to go off the hip of Gates. He'll take first base. And the rally for Georgia, the 2-out rally, continues. Now, looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter here, so we will not see Jace Blaylock, the big bat for Georgia. Instead, Joel Sanford will come up to bat.
For Georgia and batting number 17, Joel Sanford.
.65 pitches now for Jaden Priest. Got to give this young man credit. He is standing in there for South Carolina, and he is doing his best. There's a strike.
He's doing what every athlete should do, compete. You know, things obviously are upside down for their team, but he's not trying any less. He's given 100%. And that's the one thing, and I've talked to a number of players that I've coached. It takes absolutely 0 talent to try and hustle. 0. Okay? And that's one of the things that, you know, each player should keep in mind. Every time they take the field, they have the opportunity to impress somebody. You know, whether it be, you know, future high school coach, maybe you're in high school, there's a college recruiter out there, you're in college and maybe there's a pro scout out there. It might be in practice. It might be in a practice game. It may be just you're in the tunnels or something like that. Every time you put the uniform on, you have a chance to open somebody's eyes, and that to me is something that, you know, may be lost at on some players.
Got to be a high for the amount of pitches a pitcher has thrown in one particular inning. This is the 38th pitch that Jaden Priest has thrown here in the 3rd. Keep in mind for Georgia, we will have the 10-run rule in effect if they can hang on to this lead. That's just something to remember as we continue on in this game. As finally Jaden Priest able to get the strikeout, and Georgia is finally done in the 3rd. But it's a big-time inning. Caleb Cost delivering the biggest blow. A 3-run triple, and Georgia leading by 11 here in their home state. Catch all the excitement of the Little League World Series, including scores, stats, highlights, and much more. Visit LLWS.org or follow along on social media with hashtag LLWS. A new pitcher for Georgia, Garrett Martin, gonna get his chance, leading by 11. Georgia's out-hit South Carolina 7-1, and now Martin gonna get a chance to shine.
Oh, you call him Martin or call him G-Money? How about that nickname? He's out there sporting the shades. And I would have to say they're probably prescription. But he's a cool little dude, not quite 5 feet tall. You can go out there and show him what he's got. Yeah, it's a situation also that, you know, Aaron Gates was in there, threw some pitches, trying to save him for later in the tournament. And this is where your depth in your pitching really can help you out. You get somebody that can eat up a couple of innings for you, not have to use one of your guys. You know, that makes you that much stronger whenever you're going down the road. And now with them in the losers bracket, just takes that much longer to get to the championship game.
Martin throws this one inside. So James Mellehe's bottom of the order for South Carolina. Keep in mind, South Carolina only 11 guys because of the injured Russ Shepard and Jackson Turpin, two of their best players. This team from Greenville playing short-handed here and trying to stay alive. Yep, got to be tough for Russ Shepard on crutches after trying to get back to first base in that last game. And jammed the right ankle, sprained that ankle. Done that a few times on the basketball court. Know what that feels like. There's some serious pain. As that ankle definitely going to swell over the next few days.
Yeah, I saw him. He's got a little air cast with the wrap around it, trying to keep the swelling down.
But still very much into this game, watching his teammates compete against Georgia. James Mellehe's full count. And he's going to draw a walk. So Garrett Martin walks the first batter he faces.
And for South Carolina, number 44, Caleb DeWitt.
Top of the order, Caleb DeWitt for South Carolina. And a strike.
There you go. Garrett Martin, first hitter, will just chalk that up to little nerves. First time on the hill this tournament. And I tell you, going into some of these big tournaments, as a pitcher, sometimes you give the other hitters a little bit too much credit. Try to be a little bit too fine with your pitches. Try to maybe throw them a little bit too hard, get more velocity. This is whenever you have to trust in your abilities and just stay within yourself. Not try to be too fine or too good.
Full count to Caleb DeWitt. This one put in play. Second baseman gets one, and that's all they'll get.
And Aaron Gates playing second base after going on the hill. And just a nice, easy play like that, a lot of times turns into disaster. Try to get too much out of it. There's a situation where you take what the ball is going to give you. Wasn't hit hard enough for two. Catch the ball, go ahead and throw, give you a nice easy throw to your shortstop, get that lead runner, keep the double play in effect.
Jaden Priest has the only run of this game. He's been battling on the hill, and he did hit a solo shot in the first inning for South Carolina. Jaden Priest got a great nickname also. Nickname is Boogie. Fouls this one back. What happens when guys give you a nickname and you don't really like it? Like, when was that time when somebody actually decided to call you Spanky, and how did it stick?
Well, my AAA manager was Jim Fregosi. And, you know, as a guy that's been in the big leagues a long time, he was an all-star. Here I am, I'm just a kid. So basically, you sit there and you wear it and you like it.
Jaden Priest walks. So runners on first and second now for South Carolina. Chance to make some noise here in the bottom of the third. Warner Robins, Georgia, side of the Little League Southeast Regional. Third day of competition. And two teams battling to stay alive. Georgia, South Carolina. Taylor Rabe up at bat now for South Carolina. He'll shoot this one into center field. Caleb Costin, that great arm, going to come up throwing. That throw gets away. Nobody's covering home, so they'll take advantage of it as Caleb DeWitt slides, and it's 12-2. So you saw the great arm by Cost, but it just wasn't on point.
Well, yeah, he got to the ball in good order. Third base coach is holding him up. Yeah, good strong throw, but it eventually goes past the catcher. It was way too far up the line. Before you know it, you had the pitcher and the catcher going for the ball. Nobody covering home plate, so taking advantage was South Carolina.
Now William Dennis's turn. '20th pitch for Garrett Martin. This one dies right in front of the plate, but good enough for a strike. South Carolina bats showing some life here. And this is a player that I think Garrett Martin needs to get. Tries to stay away from him. And it is 2-2. Jaden Priest on third base. Taylor Rabe at second. Dennis watches this one, and it's called strike three.
Yeah, it looks like it had a little wrinkle on that one. Take a peek at it, down and away. Yeah, that was a little breaking ball. Just caught the outside corner, maybe just a tad off. But again, that one's close enough to call, close enough to hit.
Garrett Martin's been trying to hit that spot throughout this inning. When he's able to hit it, seems like he is on point with David Singleton, our home plate umpire. Lathan Sellers, the next batter now. Oh, that's right at him. And he'll be awarded first base.
The South Carolina team going to head back that way if they, should they not be able to come back, and everybody in the car is going to have to be wearing ice packs. There's going to be bruises and sprains and all kinds of things happen. These guys are taking a beating.
Pinch hitter now, Benton Sutherland, and he'll hit it. It's caught by Elwine, who was drifting to second base. So Bryce Elwine on the move, makes the grab for Georgia. 10-run lead for Georgia over South Carolina. Third game of four today. Georgia with a 10-run lead over South Carolina. As we head to the fourth inning, still have Florida, Alabama, the game coming up later on tonight in the nightcap. All games from Warner Robins on ESPN3, so we'll have one tomorrow at 11 o'clock and then later on tomorrow night as well. Fans getting really comfortable in this ballpark. Great place to watch a game. There's not a bad seat in the house. This ball hit right back to the pitcher, and Jaden Priest makes easy work of it for the first down. One change defensively for South Carolina. Griffin Pickard is now the catcher.
Batting for Georgia, number 11, Simon Lewis.
Simon Lewis's turn. 7, 8, 9 in this inning for Georgia. Lewis, a big Tom Brady fan. He'll be followed by Sully White. Jaden Priest up to 75 pitches now.
Now what he's done for his team is really kept things okay for him. He's given up some hits, but what he's done is just eaten up some innings, and he's competed.
Yep. Simon Lewis, the catcher for Georgia. Georgia would love to close this game out in the bottom of the fourth, courtesy of the 10-run rule. Can get a couple here, maybe give them a little insurance to do that. I think that is what they are thinking right now.
And a lot of that is just saving pitching.
Yep.
It's not about embarrassing the other team. It's all about in a tournament like this, just being able to, again, save 2 innings worth of pitching that you might need tomorrow or even further down the line.
Ball was hit hard into center field right in front of Lathan Sellers. So Georgia looking to add to their production here. Logan Howard will come to the plate. Good crowd on hand here in Warner Robins tonight. Interesting to see what Georgia is going to do in the next inning, pitching-wise. They continue to go to Garrett Martin, or will they bring somebody else in, save Martin for later? Hit hard to third. William Dennis, the long throw, and he's going to be safe at first.
And once again, we see at this age level, once you bobble the ball, it really makes it tough. And here Dennis goes to his left. The one little bobble, picks it up quickly, throws over, and just drags McMaster off the base just a little bit. That's a tough chance.
And now you got to deal with the bat of Trey King. And King is struck on the bat. So the bases will be loaded now, and have to figure that the pitches for Jaden Priest are going to be numbered here. Remember, 85 is the limit in Little League Baseball. But the question is, I mean, he's clearly given all that he has here today. Do you keep him to pitch to Garrett Martin here with the bases loaded?
Yeah, I say so. And, the young man has done a nice job for his club. Been out there. They're obviously shorthanded. 2 of their very best pitchers injured. So they were going real deep. They may choose to go ahead and make a change here. And again, this is what being a good teammate's all about. If you're Jaden Priest, he's gone out there and done his team proud, his state proud, everybody proud for what he's accomplished.
Greenville, South Carolina, just over 4-hour drive here to Warner Robins. Will Dennis, manager for South Carolina, making all the adjustments that he can. Tough when you're shorthanded without 2 of your best players, Russ Shepard and Jackson Turpin. So Jaden Priest, still the man. Garrett Martin at bat now for Georgia. Martin hitting for Garrett Arrington. Bryce Aylwine will be the next batter. It's hit softly to the first baseman. Force play at home. They get him there. So 2 outs now.
Yeah, good D. Patrick McMaster at first base. Gathers this up. No hesitation whatsoever. A strike to Griffin Picard at home plate.
Number 14, Bryce Aylwine.
Brings up Bryce Aylwine now. Base is still loaded for Georgia. Picard behind the plate. Aylwine swings at the off-speed pitch and misses it. So, hey, what if Jaden Priest can get through this inning? That would be huge for South Carolina. Not going to happen. Not now, at least. Base hit to right field. Going to score one and another. Lead extended to 14-2 as Aylwine with a 2 RBI, 2-out base hit.
Well, Aylwine inside outs this ball into that 3-4 gap between first and second. Nothing anybody can do about it. Sutherland getting the ball in. Georgia offense, every inning they've put runs up. 5-3, 4-2.
Caleb Koss puts it in play right at the third baseman, and Dennis going to take care of it. But Georgia, they are able to get 2, and they lead by 12. They can hold South Carolina. The 10-run rule will be in effect in the 4th. A 12-run lead for Georgia as we head to the bottom of the 4th. And with that, the 10-run rule could possibly be in effect here if South Carolina is unable to get at least 3 runs across the board. Mike, this game will be over.
Well, it's simple as that. South Carolina scores 3 or this game's done. 3 or more. So, you know, as a team, nobody wants to get 10 runs. You want to leave the tournament. If it's going to leave the tournament, well, you might not win as much as you want, but yeah, everybody wants to try to avoid that. So we'll see what happens. You know, again, the South Carolina team came in, you know, really in a disadvantage due to some injuries. Then let's see what kind of finish they have.
Number 28, Patrick McMaster.
Patrick McMaster leads it off for South Carolina. 7, 8, and 9 bottom of the order. Garrett Martin keeps working for Georgia. So this time takes off the sunglasses. Seen Martin with those on at the plate and on the mound. Not this inning though. See if it affects the way he pitches. Two and 1.
Ball outside.
Martin wants the appeal. See if he did go around and swing, and he did not. There's a strike. Full count now to McMaster. South Carolina needs base runners here if they want to stay alive. Hit to the shortstop. Making the play is Aylwine. And Aylwine has come alive defensively for Georgia.
Nice job on this ball. Ball bouncing high in the air. Instead of staying back on it, he comes in and charges it. Gets it on a very short hop, which is much easier than that in-between hop. Here, take a look at it. Again, the only way you make that play is when you're aggressive, you read the hop. When it hops high, you come get it.
Trey Sanders' turn. Sanders 0 for 1 today. Two balls, 2 strikes now to Trey Sanders. Trey Sanders followed by James Mellehe's the catcher. And Trey with a big cut that time. Fouls it away.
Yeah, just getting a piece. Trey Sanders in there, still competing.
Sanders a big swing, but it's into the catcher's mitt for strike 3. And Georgia now 1 out away from advancing and eliminating South Carolina. And Sanders, that's a tough moment right there. Gave everything he had over the last 3 days. South Carolina starting to realize that at least the second half of today is not their day. Remember, they played great earlier this morning, defeating West Virginia. Griffin Pickard, the final hope, pops this one up. Under it is Alewine, and Georgia is going to advance. Using a dominating offensive performance and an early grand slam by Jace Blaylock, Georgia wins 14-2, defending their home state. Final thoughts, Mike LaValliere.
Well, this game was just a little bit too much of Georgia and not enough of South Carolina. South Carolina came into this game a little undermanned. They had 2 of their very best pitchers that were hurt. But you got to take your hats off to the Georgia offense. They came out. You still have to swing the bats. You still have to score the runs. You still have to run the bases, throw the ball over the plate. They did enough of that. Aaron Gates gave him a couple innings. Garrett Martin finished it up. Again, this is something that this is quick strike offense from Georgia is what we saw. Blaylock with the grand slam. Before you knew it, you know, they had a bunch of runs up there. It remains to be seen if they can carry that on to the rest of the tournament.
There you saw Russ Shepard on crutches for South Carolina. And for Georgia, this team is on. Look out. Blaylock, a towering shot, a grand slam, signature play for this elimination game. Next contest about 7 o'clock. Alabama will battle Florida, as those 2 teams will look to advance in another elimination contest. Until then, for Mike LaValliere and all of our crew, I'm Drew Felios saying so long from Warner Robins.